This video has found you because you are working on shifting timelines. You are building success and money in 2026 and beyond. And you want to do it without hustling. You've done it the burnout way. You've done it the way where you're like working all the hours to get the result on your business, working on your purpose, and you want easeful money and success. You want money and success for just being you. You have to work on your inner masculine because your inner masculine is what makes your inner feminine feel safe enough to give you the creative ideas that make your vision come true. Working all of the hours, 8 hours a day, all of the time is not going to do it. You need a different type of consciousness to be able to give yourself a bigger, expansive vision. I'm not talking surviving here. If you're okay just surviving, the unhealthy masculine can do that. It's been doing that for centuries, right? But you're actually wanting lots more money and easily. Like, this is when I started to do this work, when I wanted to scale my business and I wanted to grow my purpose to help more people and to earn more money. And didn't want to hurt my body doing it. This is when I really started to look at the masculine and the feminine dynamics, because masculine and feminine energy is what creates something. You need both. The masculine is the doing and the feminine is the being, and you need those balanced energies to create with ease. So you have to do your healing, your masculine wound, and that will be your own masculine relationships in your life. So your fathers, your grandfathers, your brothers, your uncles, your cousins, and all of that energy that of what they taught you also in the world, right? So patriarchy and the patriarchal systems that are around us, capitalism and colonization and all these things, these have very much come from men. So this is all shadow, toxic male expression. And we're talking a lot about that right now. If you want to break out of that, I have to hustle in order to have what I want. If you want to break out of that, you have to heal this. What I'm going to do in this video is I'm breaking down 6 different archetypes very briefly and what you need to do to shift the energy around them. Because at the moment, you are embodying one of them, 2 of them, 3 of them, or all of them. I was embodying all of them because of the men that I had in my life. My dad was a very toxic man. He was an abuser. He wasn't the best example of masculine energy. Since I've worked with clients around the world, I feel that many people didn't get a healthy male example because of the patriarchy and because what happens in society. So they may not be an abuser like my dad, but they have other things going on. So we're going to go through what those are. So why not start with the abuser, which is you've experienced abuse where a man has been dangerous to you, and is it either emotionally abusive, physically abusive, sexually abusive, whatever that looks like. But now internally, you are an abuser to yourself, and externally, you allow abuse in relationships, whether that's through friendship or romantic partnership, or whether that is in your workplaces, whether that is with clients. Because abuse was familiar to you, and it doesn't have to come just from a man, by the way, even though we're talking about abuse, the shadow of masculine energy, but you can experience this with yourself, you can experience this with other people, and you're embodying that, right? So we need to clear that down and for you to become the guardian. So you look at where you are being abusive to yourself with the way that you speak or act or the way you behave to yourself. But also you review your circles and your environments and where there is abuse. So where people project and attack you, where people make you feel emotionally unsafe, physically unsafe, review that, okay? This is hard and it takes a lot of nervous system work and it takes going deep. This is why I have a year program dedicated to the deeper layers of doing this work so you can align with your highest path forward, and it's called Overflow. You can comment Overflow and I can send you the details. But for a week in June, the 1st to the 5th of June, and then afterwards you can buy the replay. It's just £11 and you can come and experience me going deeper into this, because manifestation and things like that, a lot of the ways that it's taught is still very toxic. It's like, do all these routines and then you can get the thing. And these things do work because they're very mind-based. But that again is that toxic masculine energy, which is we have to do a lot in order to get something. And actually you don't. You just need the feminine to feel safe because of the structures. So it's like she creates it. and then he's holding the structure so that can grow. That's how it happens. You want to clear up any abuse, and this can take, a week. This could take months. For someone like me, where I come from a complex trauma background, I've had childhood abuse, this took time. I had to cut family, I had to cut friends, I had to leave environments that were not supportive to me. I had to change the way I was living life because this abuse archetype was hanging around a lot in my energy, in the way that I thought, in the way that I felt, the way that I treated myself, the way I allowed other people to treat me. So get really, really specific and tidy that up. Your feminine will not feel safe if there's abuse hanging around. I've like doing this to scale my business and also to have a child because my body wasn't feeling safe to create life because it didn't feel safe in the world because I felt so sensitive to this abuse that had been so familiar to me and that had been a template for love because that's what my dad taught me. But I would allow unhealthy relationships rather than pulling them up and going, why are you treating me like that? Why do you talk to me like that? A lot of people don't even know they're doing it, by the way. It's just so unconscious and they're in their shadow. But saying, I'm just wondering why you said that. I'm wondering why you did that. Calling it out. You don't have to say, this is abusive, but you could just say that and start to have those conversations, end the relationship, have the boundaries, block the people. It takes a lot of courage. A healthy masculine is courageous. It's got his sword, like that protector, that guardian. Then we've got the controller. You must work 9 to 5. You must work 12 hours a day. So important. You must perform, you must prove, and you must do all the things, and then maybe you're enough. How are you being controlling to yourself in the way that you think, the way that you feel, the way that you act? How are you being controlling? Because what you want to move to is the protector, so that you don't need to be controlling to get the masculine or the feminine to do or be. It needs to be a safe structure. So when I first started my business, I'd be like, well, I worked a 9 to 5, so I'm going to work 9 to 5 on my business every single day, completely ignoring my own needs. I wouldn't go to the toilet. I wouldn't hydrate. I wouldn't take care of myself because I was mirroring like what I'd seen in the world, what patriarchy has taught me how to run a business, of how to run my schedule in a way that was really unsupportive to me. I must do it this way. I must be perfect. I must get these results. If I don't get these results, it's just not good enough. No, that does not work. It does not make your feminine feel safe. So notice the ways that you are being controlling to yourself. And then where is there control outside of you? So where are you in spaces where people are telling you how to do something? I've worked with a lot of mentors over the years, and ones that I feel like weren't the best for me were teaching me something. They were showing me the shadow. So they were like, you must do it this way. That's control. Do it this way and you will get this result. Controlling because it doesn't feel good and it's not come from within your own body and within your soul. Like, where are you doing that? These boxes are holding you back. And your feminine does not want to feel like her arms are held or she's being pushed to do something. She doesn't want to feel like that. She wants to feel emotionally safe so she can express, so she can be seen, so she can be beautiful, so she can be magnetic, so she can expand her energy. So if you're controlling her or controlling yourself, your body, you're not taking care of yourself, you're like following a punishing schedule, you're through urgency or hustling or any of those kind of things, it will not work. I talk to my clients about this all of the time. They stay with me for such a long time because this takes time to sort out and because every single person has different needs, right? I used to force myself to work at a certain time, but I'm like, no, that does not work. I need to get these certain things done before I can start my workday. And so you need to find a system that works for you, that protects your energy, but you don't control yourself. And if you do not know how to do that and you want to learn, this is the work I do in my bigger program, which is called Overflow, or you can come and experience the expansion code for a week and we'll be talking about this kind of stuff. Then we've got the men that are the avoiders. So this is emotionally unavailable. Your feelings are just too much for me. No emotional intimacy, no depth, they're going to avoid. And they're also the ones that bad things are happening and they're just going to pretend they're not happening. That's pretty much what they're like. There's men in my family that are really lovely, got great hearts, very open, very lovely. Didn't protect me, didn't keep me safe, didn't say something was wrong, didn't advocate for me, found my emotions too much. So that's the avoider, right? So the avoider, like, okay, I'm working really hard, I'm making lots of money, but your emotions are way too much for me, love. So this is presence. This is the antidote to that. Is are you, in terms of your embodiment, are you being present to the emotions within? So the healthy masculine is embodied and is able to go, oh, I'm feeling angry, I'm feeling sad, or this is my need, or this is my desire. So it's not like I've got a schedule to follow. I cannot listen to your feelings. I cannot listen to your needs. They're not good for me. So I'm going to ignore it. No, a present embodied masculine energy is set up a structure where you can check in throughout the day to see how you feel. Like, are you here? Are you present? Do you have everything that you need? Is everything okay? Do you feel safe? That could just be something simple like setting a timer in the day and checking in with yourself, your thoughts, your feelings, your body, your nervous system, and to make sure that you're okay. And that when you're not going, well, I just don't have time for you to have feelings, that creates that feeling of too much, that creates that inner unsafety, and that causes the feminine to contract, and she won't give you the creative juice that you need to be able to do what you want easily. So got to sort that one out. Presence is so important. So many women will say to me, I feel like I'm too much, or he doesn't listen, or he's not emotionally available to me, or I keep attracting avoiders and I get avoider clients, but you're avoiding yourself. So that's why you've got to look at yourself and go, am I being this for myself? And in terms of external, if you're attracting a lot of avoidance, people not buying from you, relationships that are very avoidant, where are you doing this within yourself? When you stop avoiding your own emotions, tend to your own needs, and you lean back and you're not doing pacing and things like that, when you do that more for yourself, then you're going to shift the relational pattern there. So that's the other thing is you're being avoidant yourself. And then are you allowing avoidance into your life and taking a lot of your energy? If that's the case, you need to tidy up. This is going a little bit into feminine, and that will be my next video, but you'll need to tidy that up. And I'll talk about that a bit more in the next video. So make sure you like and subscribe, get the bell, because that will come out in a few days. The performer and the hustler, like the controller, but it's like I must work all of the time. Okay, I'm really geared up. I'm in warrior mode. I really want to work on my business now. I really want to work on my purpose. So I'm going to put loads of hours in, and I'm just going to hustle and burn myself out. And yeah, okay, you can create some results like that. Feels really horrible though, and it's not sustainable. It's kind of like what the patriarchy and capitalism has done to our world. It's like, yeah, okay, we've created all of this stuff over the years, but it's destroyed our planet. So you don't want to be destroying yourself. You want to make sure that you're nourishing yourself. You want to make sure that you're taking care of your mind, your body, your soul. So you're a purposeful builder. So you're like, how do I pour into the feminine so she can be and rest and things and nourish herself, and then I can create and build? How do I do that? What does that rhythm look like for me? Bringing that into your structures, into your boundaries of your life, and your structures, your boundaries. What is the routine of my day? What are my habits? What are the things that I'm going to say no to? What am I focusing on? Those are all masculine building blocks. If you're doing that from hustle, you're just like, I must win at all costs. It doesn't matter about the body or the feminine. I must do it because I must get that result. And when I get that result, then I'll take care of it. No, that's really toxic. Okay. And so you have to build a structure. So something that just came through to me today was I noticed I have so much energy, like many women, at the beginning of their cycle up until ovulation. And after ovulation, I have a lot of ahas and I get a bit exhausted energy wise. So I was like, oh, okay, why don't I just, for the first 2 weeks of my month, create all of the content, and in the second 2 weeks of my month, go slower and just be and just like lie in my garden, read a book, might do some learning, but just generally resting more. And then I can allow space for all the ahas to come, and then I can create content using it. So it's like building structures that allow you to do the work that you came in to do without hurting yourself. Okay. Again, we go deeper into overflow in this. It takes time to build these things. So number five is the escapist, the addict. Okay, so this is the scroller on social media, the one that's having too much wine, the one that's spending all the money because they're being an addict, or I just want to have a good time and I just want to escape reality and I don't really want to be here. This is all a bit much for me. Maybe this feels a bit icky about how men are treating women. I just can't deal with that, so I'm just going to get drunk. Where are you being the escaper? Where are you being the addict? And that can be overworking, by the way. It doesn't have to be with substances or it could be with food. Where are you numbing yourself so that you don't have to feel and take responsibility for the life that you are creating? And what that looks like. I didn't do drugs, but pretty much loads of the other ones I've done, like codependency, alcohol, love addiction, relational addiction, codependent, all of these things. I've done lots of them, overworking, things like that. Becoming the embodied masculine that goes, what's the wound underneath the addiction? So it's really, again, with that presence going, why am I reaching for this? What's going on there? What do I need? So it's, you're working a little bit with the feminine as well, but what do I need? What is this? Why am I reaching for this? Where am I hurting myself and reaching for this? Where am I not feeling safe? So I'm going to this. It's that inquiry and that kind of like, how can I set up better structures so that I don't? So, for example, I had that revelation of I'm going to split up my work into these 2 week sections. When I haven't been doing that, I've noticed that I might emotionally eat more during the latter part of my cycle because I need that energy to be able to create because my body doesn't have it available and it does feel like I'm pushing it a little bit too much. So that is like, okay, I can tidy up that structure. That's the self-leadership here. Okay. And another thing with addiction is not to come from a control place. Okay. It's working with your nervous system as well. So your nervous system is leaning on the addiction. It's not to shame. It's like, okay, my nervous system is leaning on this addiction. My internal system leans on this addiction because of like a safety issue. So what structures can I put up in place so I can feel safer so I don't reach for the addiction? And, let's just say you like drink wine all the time to deal with your fear of being seen. What structures I'm going to set up so I'm not afraid of being seen. Okay, I'm going to do a nervous system exercise every single day and then slowly build that time up. And then I'm not going to go completely cold turkey on that, not having the wine. I'm just going to slowly cut the amount down. So I'll make the duration longer and cut the amount down. And I'm going to like really work on that. That's being like a manager, isn't it? It's not like you must stop now. Oh God, you're so shameful with your addiction. It's like, okay, I understand that addiction is for a reason. How can I support myself in order to tidy that up? The sixth one is the man child. I don't know if you had an experience. I certainly had experience of this growing up where the man is not taking financial responsibility generally, is not really taking responsibility for life or future. So the woman kind of has to do it and she has to step up as the man. My dad and my granddad were both addicts. They both drank a lot of alcohol, didn't really want to work very much after a certain point. The women had to do it. There was lots of financial abuse. So they were like man-childs. They're very entitled. They're from a culture that says you're the only son, you get everything anyway. Let's use your wife and your children as slaves for you. That's kind of like the man-childness that they had. But I have to be honest, I have embodied the man-child. So I have built a business for 6 years, which was not built in a way that would provide for me consistently. There was a lot of performance and it did make money surface levelly for a long time, but it didn't feel good to me and I didn't feel supported by it. It didn't feel safe. It didn't have structure. So part of growing up and being responsible is facing this thing is not giving me enough money. This is not the right house for me. It's actually not avoiding the icky stuff of life, right? I can't tell you how many times I hear from women, oh, but I just don't earn enough. Okay, well, be the healthy masculine. Don't be the man-child version of the masculine and go, how am I going to change that? Because I feel very unsafe with the amount of money that's coming to me. So I actually need more than that. It's like, being the healthy masculine is what are the resources I need for my family to thrive And if it's, I don't know, $10,000 more than what you're getting each month, just going, okay, that's what I need. What structures am I going to build? What am I creating that will give me this amount of money? What do I need to change in order to do that? Like, what is the plan? What is the structure? What is the inner work I need to do? What is the healing I need to do? What is the outside work I need to do? What is the strategies I need to follow? It's being in your leadership. That's the antidote to being the man child. And no shame with any of these archetypes. I've embodied them all. We see them in the world. We have them within us. We see them in our families. And it's tidying those things up. And the way that I do that is like, what is my routine that's going to support me this week? And every week something will come up. I'll be like, oh, I was really tight with my urgency there. I need to tidy that up. But I was going into hustle mode. I didn't hydrate that day. I didn't eat well that day. I went into addiction that day. And it's really observing the way that you're doing everything, your habits, your routines, the way that you speak to yourself, the way you're interacting with other people, and going, what structures do I need? When you do this, your feminine is going to feel so much better so that she can start to create. Now, the feminine has her things too, where she won't be in her power, in her creativity. So in my next video that's coming out in a few days, I will go through the feminine there. Remember, you can come to the expansion code. Expansion code is the 1 week experience, which is of the container, which is like the bigger experience of overflow, where I am helping you unlock your expansion code within you by balancing the energies within your system. And so you embody your soul life, the healing versus the having. It's just £11. Comment expansion code and I'll send you the link. Or if you're like so ready to commit to a year, come into overflow. You can just comment overflow and I'll send you the details. And I'll see you in the next video.